Welcome back to LDB Games. I'm Lord Darth Balls, and happy Monday, everyone. At the time of release of this video, I'm probably walking through security in the airport to go on a business trip. So I'll be away for a week. However, I have scheduled content to be released every day this week, so I hope you enjoy it and or get something out of it. This video is a request from a viewer. I think it was a couple weeks ago now. I pulled my soul stones, and I pulled a 6-star perfect soul for TOMOE. Now, I asked you all, my viewers, if you want to see me do a guide on her, because otherwise I would have sold it for a nice little chunk of essence or coins or whatever the resource you get from it. So I set out to build her, right? Let's go through her kit first. I'll show you how I have her built. You can see her gear is not done, but her stats are pretty substantial still. Then we'll go through her masteries, and then I'll take her out to play in a couple areas of the game, and we'll talk about where she's really used, and if you pull her early on, where you can kind of take advantage of her. So her A1 is a single target, single hit, has a 30% books to a 50% chance of stealing a random buff from the target. Kind of cool. Not anything crazy. Her A2 is an AoE, has a 75% books to a 100% chance of placing a decreased attack on a 3-turn cooldown. Excellent ability right here. Then her A3 is kind of cool. It places a counterattack on a target ally, so a single ally, for 2 turns. If they are a Shadowkin, it places them for 3 turns. Then it fills the turn meter of all allies by 15% and places a 30% increase crit damage buff for 2 turns. And it also places an increased crit rate buff for 2 turns if that champion is from the Shadowkin faction. You can see a pattern here. And then she has an even cooler passive. So this increases all heals and turn meter effects by 20% when you use them on champions from the Shadowkin faction. So she is, and you can see her aura here, 24% speed in faction crypts. So she is intended on being a faction crypt champion through and through. However, there are a couple of other uses for her throughout this game, which is pretty cool. You'll see I chose Heaven Cast. I had a really hard time figuring out what blessing to go with. I chose Heaven Cast because her A1 has a 50-50 chance of stealing a random buff. So it has a chance of ignoring a percentage, 40% of the target's resistance, which is pretty cool if you think about it. I also don't know if it categorizes it as a debuff. So this could have just been a pointless blessing. Outside of that, I probably would have taken something either with resistance or accuracy in it, because there's really 2 ways to build this champion. One is with high accuracy and high speed for general content. The other is high speed and high resistance for Hydra. Because she is throwing up 2, potentially 3 buffs that are, counterattacks, not very common in this game, she can be a perfect candidate for a mischief tank. I will not be showcasing that here today, as I still haven't really dialed in on my Hydra teams. I'll get to it eventually. So I did not build her with resistance. But before we go to her stats, let's look at her masteries. I was having a little trouble with this too, because her kit is pretty niche, and there's not a lot of stuff that she gets benefit from here. All right, so I went down the support tree, took the extra accuracy, took the healing when an enemy is killed so she can stay topped up, took the chance of increasing turn meter when a buff cast is removed or expires, right? Her A3 puts out 2, potentially 3 buffs. That's a chance for upwards of 30% turn meter when they expire. The extra accuracy for enemies alive. I did take Evil Eye because one of the areas I'm going to showcase her today is the arena. And Evil Eye is a really cool ability in the arena for when you don't clear it, when you don't finish the fight in like 30 seconds or less, right? And you end up going through your turns. A1s with Evil Eye are used to kind of mess up the enemy's turn order, which is really nice. I took Cycle of Magic to potentially get her A3 back faster. That's really, there's nothing special to that. And then lasting gifts, a chance to extend the duration of buffs cast, right? Because she'll put counterattack up for 3 turns on Shadowkin. This could be 4. Some cool potential there. I took Sniper, again, with the intent of the A1, but I don't know if it categorizes a buff steal as a debuff. So this could just be a wasted mastery, but it got me down to Eagle Eye for the extra accuracy bump. Went down the defense tree. I took the extra resistance just because. I also took improved parry because, like I said, I'm going to showcase her in the arena, and everyone gets hit with crits in the arena. Rejuvenation increases the amount of healing that this champion receives, so that combined with her passive gives her that much more healing. Resurgent, chance to remove a debuff from a big hit, always a nice choice. Delayed death reduces the damage you take from a specific champion. Really good choice for longer form battles, so this would really be a choice move for Hydra. And then I went to Cycle of Revenge, chance to increase the turn meter when an ally is hit with a crit. Right, so in the arena, everybody hits with crits. This gives her a chance of getting her turn faster. So how did I build her? Well, she has these 3 buffs on her A3. And this really is the main part of her kit, right? Combined with her passive, these are kind of the 2 highlights of her kit. So I decided to build her in Protection. Protection set, which you get from farming Hydra, with 6 pieces gives you a 30% chance to protect a buff that you cast. So there is a chance, albeit probably not the greatest, of getting that 3-turn or 2 or 3-turn counterattack buff protected, which is pretty cool. In terms of stats, I built her fairly quick, right? Not super fast, but relatively fast. And I'll talk through why I have her targeted in around this speed when we get to it. Some halfway decent effective HP and a nice chunk of accuracy to do the job. If I were to rework this, I would probably try to bring the accuracy down to 300 and exchange that for, 150 resistance to try to resist any kind of debuffs or the stealing of buffs. But this is kind of my first pass at this champion. I am saving these 15s for the next artifact enhancement event for the fusion. And I'll be working these 3 and this one all the way up to 15. But you can see I still have a substantial amount of stats. So the first place I'm going to show her in, it should be kind of obvious based on her kit, right, is Shadowkin. Now, this is my team right now. I've got Ninja, I've got Lady Kimmy, I've got Taragi, I've got Genbo, I've got Gamarin. Taragi for protection, he brings reflect damage, he brings shield, he brings ally protection. Kimmy for turn meter play, right? Control, she can reduce the enemy's turn meter, she can strip buffs, she can put on speed, increase accuracy. Lot of turn meter control in this champion. I brought Gamaran in. Now, Gamaran is like a little underrated, not super, because this is the only place I use him. You can see he's actually in my Master Vault right now, and he's only 50. There's no Reviver in this faction, but Gamaran has this really cool passive that revives an ally when an enemy is killed. So he is the reason that I was able to 3-star this. Genbo and Ninja obviously coming in for damage. I'm going to take Ninja out, and I'm going to replace him with TOMOE, and I'm going to throw the increased ally speed in faction crypts. And we're going to see if this can get me a faster run, right? You saw my best was about 1:01, and we're going to get to see kind of a little bit of what she's made of here. So let's get into this run and see what happens. Full disclosure, I haven't run her in any of these teams yet. I have no idea how this is going to go. Boom. So he caught the counterattack Genbo, which that makes sense, right? I didn't know how the AI was going to go, but I like that she put it on the attack-based champion. It's probably based on the max HP, right? It probably chooses the lowest max HP champion in the crew, which is, obviously that will be your damage dealer. Her A1's not going to do anything. That was a solid hit. For not having crit rate, that was pretty solid. Now, she's got all of her abilities. I kind of want to take this over and do it myself right now. So let's buff up. I don't really want to knock their turn meter back right now because every turn meter fill I get, Tomo's passive increases, right? So it keeps my team going super quick. So I'm going to put the increase count. Oh, look at that. Oh, nice. That's a beautiful showcase of protection set right there. Now, the other downside with using her with Genbo is Genbo self-buffs, right? So he doesn't need to use this, right? So I'm just going to end up using his A1. Let's take out, see if we can, no, we can't take her out. Okay. Let's put it back on auto for now. Okay, come back around to Tomo. Oh, that was her, okay, that was her A2 for the AoE increase, decrease attack, which is pretty strong. This isn't going to be a best time showcase. I'm gonna do a run after this that I just don't take it off auto because I kind of want to play around with her, right? Like that makes sense, right? This isn't gonna be a good showcase for her A1 though, unfortunately, because nobody's got buffs and nobody's really attacking. But you can see there was Genbo using his own self buff there. And basically, with the combination of Tomo and Genbo, if I was manualing it, I would have held that for this. But between the two of them, you can essentially keep up increased crit rate and increased crit damage on Genbo perpetually. Because he has that self buff himself, right? It just pulled off, but I think his A3 is probably back. But I may not even need Gamaran in this because no one was at risk of dying there. So we're going to run this one more time. I'm going to take Gamaran out, and I'm actually going to put Ninja back in. Don't hate me, guys. I am going to throw Ninja in here. I think he's built, right? Yeah, he's built. Okay, 39, 100% crit. Ooh, nice accuracy. I think I built him with the incentive Sand Devils, but I just haven't gotten around to it yet. And I'm curious, one, how fast this run's going to go. Two, whether she's going to choose Genbo. Yep, she chose Genbo again, so I bet it does have to do with max HP, because Ninja's max HP is way higher than Genbo's. Genbo is built as an arena nuker, and Ninja is not. Wow, 17-second first wave. Now, my best is a minute, so I'm wondering if this is going to help me clear it faster. I may not even need Taragi. Can I bring another damage dealer in? 30 seconds. Lots of freezes just came out. Yeah, Tomo's A1 here does nothing. However, she is the only champion in this squad that has decreased attack, which is, and decreased attack is probably one of the best debuffs in this game, because if you can survive, then you have an opportunity to do more damage over time, right? Ooh, we're not going to beat my best time. Okay. It's still pretty quick, though. And she's definitely helping them run faster. Her passive makes any turn meter or heal increased for champions from the Shadowkin faction. Maybe taking out Taragi would make it faster. I don't know. I wonder if there is a way to speed this up. That was a pretty solid run, though. She doesn't do much on her own, right? She's really a support champion that empowers other champions. So let's take her into the arena. Now, I designed an arena team for this. And I'm pretty high in gold still, so I don't know if I'll be able to really get a team to showcase this. Ooh, let's try this one. It's probably going to end really poorly. So, all right, the team that I designed uses my Fast Arbiter, who's got 349 speed. I am using Lady Kimmy in here. Now, unfortunately, they both have the same aura. I'm keeping Georgid just because his A1 hits really hard. So now where's Tomo? Okay, so Tomo should, if it was on auto, Tomo should put the counterattack on George the Breaker, right? With the increased crit rate, increased crit damage. Sorry, increased crit damage. It won't put increased crit rate out because George is not he's Night Revenant. He's not Shadowkin. Let's push their turn meters back. I don't want to do a turn meter fill. Block buffs. Let's do this one. Decreasing turn meter of them. to get my team going. Okay, beautiful. So here's Tomo. I'm going to throw my counterattack on Georgid. Nice, it's protected. I guess it's not really necessary, but I have the boost in crit damage here. And I want to take out Hefrak first. 185. What's the A2? 57. Wow, Soul Reap for the clutch there. Maybe I should take in a different damage dealer, but that was pretty impressive. Being in here. My thought was Genbo because he's Shadowkin, right? But he self-buffs, and he's also a glass cannon. So, like, I don't really know if it's that effective. Let's see what happens here. Okay, I won the speed race. Looks like everybody's faster. All right, let's... Turn meter fill. Reducing turn meter. Let's control them a little bit. Okay, we're going to buff up. Wow, look at that. A 4-turn counterattack protected. That's pretty insane, I gotta say. Like, that has a tremendous amount of power. Now, I think she's better paired with some type of defensive nuker, right? I don't know if... Oh, he survived that. That was his counterattack, though. Damn it. I wanted to see him counterattack. He's not going to be able to... Yeah, no, he's not going to... No. All right, let's pick him back up. Let's do a boost. And now he's getting more turn meter boost as well because of Tomo's passive, which is kind of cool, right? Like, it has some serious inherent value. Oh, look at that. I was able to land the decreased attack on Mithrala. Either that Mithrala is not built well, or that just shows how well this Tomo is built. Now, I lost the good buffs, so I'm going to buff myself up. And we're going to take down, yep, Mountain King. Pop, pop. Can we strip any? No. Oh, wow. I'm landing a lot of buffs. I think this is just a really poorly built Mithrala, honestly. Like, that's... Oh, I stole a buff! That was actually kind of cool. And my AoE's back already. Boom, done. So, not bad, right? I mean, she's kind of a cool champion. Definitely if you're in the early game and you pull, or even mid-game and you pull her, she has tremendous value in the arena. Because though she doesn't bring any protection buffs, she's probably better off with a defense-based nuker. Because then they have their own protection, or you bring in somebody that can protect, right? Like, even bringing in Lydia instead of Lady Kimmy might do Tomo more good in terms of helping her out, even though you don't get the Shadowkin boost, because obviously Lydia is Dark Knight, Dark Knight. Dark Knight's Batman. Whoops. I'm Batman. Anyway, even though you don't get the turn meter and the heal boost, you do get the protection. And I think that is the one thing that her kit is kind of missing, is she doesn't really have any protection. Oh, this is just a disaster. Can I pull this one out of anywhere? I don't think this is... Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. All right, let's try a different, this around a little bit. So we need a cleanse, right? So let's bring in Mithrala in here, okay? And then I do need an increased attack to really empower Genbo a little bit more. And a block debuffs would be really nice. So let's bring Duchess in. What do we got here? 19, 20, that's faction. Yeah, let's use Genbo's aura. And let's see if I can pull a win out on this. Now, nobody in this team is going to get a benefit from Tomo's passive except for Tomo, right? So there's an issue in and of itself. So let's come out with a Hex first. Let's throw block debuffs up so that they can't get anything on us. And then let's put the counterattacks and the boost on Genbo, right? So there's... Oh, okay, cool. That was a nice counterattack. Let's do Heartless Blitz. Beautiful. Are those all counterattacks? Those are all counterattacks. Okay, we're going to have to go for AoE. Yep, beautiful. Ooh. Oh, wow. Okay. I'm starting to see a little bit more of her power. So in the arena, it's not so much about pairing her with Shadowkin, but about pairing her with a enough of a defensive-based team. I don't want to use that because I don't want to run out of my counterattack yet. Enough of a defense-based team to help keep your nuker alive while Tomo's bringing in the buffs. So what I'm going to do after this, because I think this has been a pretty good showcase of what she's capable of overall. We're going to go into the Shadowkin faction and see if I could identify a better team with champions that maybe I don't have. Right? Because that is one of the limiting factors of what I was able to do here is champions that I just don't have, right? My Shadowkin's, you know, a fairly new faction, so my selection is a little bit limited. I was able to win this fight, which is pretty cool, right? So there's a success story right there. And I think that the counterattacks that Tomo put on Genbo had a, who is Shadowkin, by the way, right? Which is nice, had a really big impact on whether I was able to beat this, right? Because he counterattacked 3 times with his A1, and his A1 hits pretty hard. So I think Genbo is a really nice pair. Now, the only real downside that I see with that, excuse me, is it totally removes the need for his self-buff, right? Which is part of the appeal of his kit. Right, he self-buffs, he grants an extra turn, so you're constantly coming back around on your abilities, and it's almost like having Tomo in there completely removes the need for this, because Tomo brings these 2 buffs. He's got an incredible kit overall, right? You can see I have him built with, you know, 305 crit damage. I do have him built with 74 crit rate because he brings his own crit rate buff. Right, so, and that's what I was saying before, is one of the really cool things about pairing Tomo with Genbo is you can keep increased crit rate, increased crit damage up for a pretty long time between their 2 abilities. He brings a really nice aura in the arena as well. So that was kind of a cool showcase, right? Let's take a look and let's see if we can theory craft on the fly, maybe another combo. You know, I was thinking of Michinaki. I haven't pulled him yet. I have his fragments ready to go. And if we put a counterattack on him, he's not only counterattacking when people attack under Hex, but then he'll counterattack when he's attacked, right? Not bad. I wish I had Harima. I feel like that would be a decent counterattack to have. I was considering Jintoro as well. However, Jintoro was really a boss damage dealer, right? So the thought that I had was building some type of clan boss team where Tomo, who has the decreased attack for 3 turns, right? 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown, you can keep that up almost the entire fight. And she throws counterattack up on Jintoro, but he doesn't get his extra turn when he kills somebody. It would be incredible if this was his counterattack skill, right? If he had some ability that made it so his A3 is what he counterattacked with. And then he also has a turn meter fill boost, so it would be very hard to speed tune, but there might be something there, right? I don't know. Genzin, not really. I don't see value in that. Nope, no. Maybe, see, I looked at Corrado too, and his A1 is kind of strong, but and that's where the benefit might come in, right, is the combination of his passive and his A1. I don't know how hard this hits, but that could be a viable option to pair her with. Maybe another support champion? No, Riho wouldn't really do well with that. 1 enemy 2 times steals turn meter. See, now this is cool too, because if Yumeko steals turn meter, Tomo's going to increase the amount of turn meter that she steals. Heals too, right? So she can kind of power up Yumiko a little bit. He's probably one of the worst Void legendaries in the game. No. And I looked through all the epics that I have, and I honestly, like, I couldn't find one better than Genbo, right? In terms of Shadowkin. And that's why I tried using, what's his name? George in the beginning. Now, Uboro is an interesting option because you can use Tomo to decide who you want your Mischief tank to be, right? Uboro self-buffs in and of herself, right? Same 2 buffs, which is interesting, right? It seems like the increased crit rate and increased crit damage is a common buff up in the Shadowkin faction. However, the reason I was considering Oboro, and it would really be more for Hydra, is her A1 will AoE if the target is under 4 more debuffs. So you get 4 debuffs out with a 3 or a 4 turn counterattack on her, and she is just unleashing AoE after AoE after AoE, keeping that decreased defense up the whole time. Taya is an interesting option too, but it's not her A1 that I would want her to repeat. It's a poison activator, and that walks into another option in a Dark Elves. It seems like she pairs really well with Dark Elves, in my opinion. But that's besides the point. The activator on Dark Kale's A1. This is something that may have some kind of substance in terms of a combination champion, because you get enough poisoners and HP burners in your team. TOMOE throws the counterattack up on Dark Kale. Obviously, it'll only be for 2 turns, but still counterattack. And now he's popping poisons every time he counterattacks. So there may be something there as well. So she's got a really cool kit, right? So I'm gonna end the video there. This was kind of a fun test drive. You know, I'm not overly impressed with her. I don't know that the passive increase is substantial enough to really be noticeable in a lot of different areas of the game. I think Hydra is really where she's going to come into play, which is kind of sad that I haven't really put the time into Hydra yet, because then I can't really showcase her there. But she is a really cool champion. So let me know what you guys think. At the end of the day, if you are in a place like I am, right, you're mid to late game, maybe pushing on end game, you already have Lydia, don't build her. I don't think she's worth it. But if you're early game, if you're mid game, you're still working through some content, you're still struggling with Shadowkin faction crypts, I think she is a 100% build. Because the level of support she brings to the Shadowkin faction alone can help you 3-star the faction crypt stage 20. And I think in the early to mid game, you can have some fun with her in the arena. I was kind of having fun with her in the arena. I will admit, right? That was a little fun, dealing with, seeing the protected counterattack go up, the 4 turns on Genbo, watching Genbo's counterattack. So she has some inherent value. I just don't know that it's enough for me to find a place in my teams for her. I think when I inevitably get around to working on Hydra, I'll try to fit her into one of my teams because of the 6-star blessing. But again, with her kit, there's really no blessing to get value from. So that's what I got, guys. Let me know what you thought down in the comments. Is there another champion that you've seen me kind of scrolling past in my account that you want me to build? Let me know. Do you have TOMOE, and did this help you? I invite you to hit the like button, push this content out to other people to help them try to get some value out of this kind of unique and very niche champion in the game. But if you've made it this far, thanks for watching. I appreciate everyone that's viewing this, that's viewed it up until this point. You guys are great. Thank you so much. I invite you to subscribe if you haven't already. I am still a very new content creator and would love to bring you more content that can help you play this game, or just bring you a smile or some enjoyment in your day, right? And give you the break from the monotony of life that life can sometimes bring you. I'm Lord Darth Balls. I'll catch you on the next video. Enjoy your raid.